whether the team is performing clean or unsightly. We'll cover it all here on Washington Football Nightly. I, of course, am your host, Louie T. Thank you for joining me. Let's get to tonight's lead story. Y'all smell that? Smells like a damn division winner in here. Oh, oh, that's just us. Celebrate! The Washington football team are your 2020 NFC East division champs. The champs are here. The champs are here. That's right. We in the building. Feels damn good. Feels good. Feels good. And despite what anybody may be trying to convince you of out there today, we earned this. Okay? We earned this. Nobody has gone through what we've gone through this season. Nobody. And I mean nobody. No fan base, no franchise has undergone as much turmoil, controversy, and nonsense as we've had to endure. And we've been enduring this for years, decades even. So no one should get to celebrate this, 7-9 or not, more than us. Nobody else had to undergo a name change and identity transformation. Nobody else had to endure a owner scandal and ownership fighting over percentage of ownership, with minority owners and the majority owner clashing and in courts and battling one another and slinging mud. Washington, Post articles and things of that nature. Nobody had to deal with that shit. We did. Nobody else's coach had cancer this year. Ours did. Nobody had a first round pick from last year's draft go out and put himself in a risky position and risk the rest of his teammates in week 16? Well, I can't say that nobody else did, but we did. Okay? There were other teams that had players go rogue and do stupid shit and really hurt them and then had to release them. Not many teams. There have been some other teams that have had, hell, in this division, that have had to start multiple quarterbacks. We've had to start 3 different quarterbacks. We've played 4 different quarterbacks. That was us. We are playing a guy right now that had a leg that was severed. Essentially, it looked like it had been blown up just a year and a half ago. 2 years ago. We're doing that. And yet, here we are. 7-9. Division champs. Don't let anybody try to diminish what this team has done this season. Okay? From 1-5 to 2-7 to 9-7. Don't let anybody diminish what this team has accomplished this season. Don't let anybody try to diminish your fandom for being excited about what we've accomplished this season. And it's not just this season, it's bigger than that. It's what's to come, what feels like is on the horizon because of what this season has represented. You should feel you should be ecstatic is what you should be. Now, the game itself, to clinch the division, was not pretty. It was not a work of art. And I've got my keys to the game right here, and we're going to talk about these in a second. Because, no, it was not pretty. It was not a work of art. And I read all of the social media posts. I was on Twitter. I was looking at all the comments about how ugly of a game it was, and it was a joke, and it was this, and it was that. And it was NFC East football. In 2020, that's what NFC East football looked like. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. As a fan of the division, as a fan of one of the teams playing in the game, it was ugly. And after that last turnover by the Eagles, where they snap the ball and it's on the ground and Nate Sudfeld is trying to pick, instead of falling on it, he wants to try to pick it up. Where are you going, dude? Just fall on the ball. And Montez Sweat knocks it out of his hand and Chase Young. After that play, I myself had to even laugh for a second and say, and in the MOBB, I said, that's NFC East football at its finest this year. Okay? It was a joke. We throw an interception. They go for it on fourth down, not get it. We throw another interception. They'd fumble it back to us. We tried to fumble the football. Then we tried to fumble it again. It was what that game was. It was a mess. But we won. And I don't care what it looked like. I don't care what it appeared to be on the outside looking in. I just wanted to win. Survive and advance is the name of the game, and we did that. No apologies necessary. No explanations necessary. Survive and advance. We did, and so we move on to Wild Card Weekend. Well, we'll be hosting. That's right, hosting the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We'll have all week to talk about that. This week is going to be filled with glee and cheer. No anxiety here about Tom Brady and all the weapons that they feature. We had all week to talk about that. Let's enjoy this. We waited 17 long weeks to hear Washington football team, ... 2020 NFC East champions. Waited 17 weeks to hear that beautiful sound. So let that ring a bit. Why don't you? Now, we're going to talk about this game. And there is an elephant in the room that we must approach. And we might kindly ask that elephant to step out of the room. Maybe he will. Maybe he won't. We'll talk about that a little bit later on in the show. But as we customarily do on Mondays, let's go through our keys to victory. See how we did. Washington's defense versus Philadelphia's offense. First key, start fast. Doesn't get much faster than 10-0 within the first, 7-8 minutes of the game, maybe. Doesn't get much faster than 10-0. Opening drive. First of all, Eagles get the football first. You get a 3-and-out stop, or they get one first down due to a penalty, and then you get a stop, and they punt. And then you go on a nice, long 10, 12 play drive, cap it off, in which you go 3 of 3 on third downs, and culminate it with a touchdown pass on a third down to Terry McLaurin, who was supposed to be out of this game. I still don't know how he played, and played well, I might add. 7-0. Eagles come out on their second possession. Cam Curl, who a lot of you have fallen madly in love with, great. Jams the snot out of Zach Ertz, who doesn't see the football on the slant, and Cam Curl picks it off. The only thing I was pissed off about Cam Curl on that play is, don't let Zach Ertz tackle you there. You got a touchdown. Stay on your damn feet. Run that shit back for a score. Anyway, we're not able to convert that into a touchdown. However, it's a field goal. It's 10-0. You can't get much better of a start than that for us. That's as fast as it gets for us. All right. This car here in Washington only gets up to 85. We were doing 85 to start this game. Now, we don't have one of those Tampa Bay Buccaneer Porsches or, Lamborghinis. We don't have one of those that go 180 miles an hour. Ours just gets up to 85, and when it gets to 85, it starts to shake. But we got that shit up to 85 at the beginning of this game. Started fast. So check. Contain Jalen Hurts. On the surface, doesn't appear to have been a game in which we did that very well. Hurt us on a couple of third down scrambles, scored 2 touchdowns. But when you look at his numbers, and I'm going to do that right now quickly, they weren't all that great. It's not like when Russell Wilson or Kyler Murray or Lamar Jackson blessed us, okay? But he did get us for 2 touchdowns, and he did hurt us on a couple of third downs. I will admit that, okay? Those did happen. However, I was pleased. At one point, I think I saw 7 for 31. It was 2 touchdowns now. But there weren't any real big, egregious runs in there either. Jalen Hurts ended up, for the game, having 8 rushes for 34 yards. That's not all that bad, honestly. Now, the 2 touchdowns hurt. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. Those hurt. And that's what he brings to the table. But there weren't any 25-yard scampers. There wasn't a 37-yard backbreaker in there like he did to the Saints. He rushed for over 100 yards against the Saints. He didn't do that to us. I'll give us a half of a check because the 2 touchdowns hurt. But 8 for 34, that's not a needle mover for me. So half a check for containing Jalen Hurts. Limit explosive plays. Check. That's one of the reasons we even won this game. The Eagles had no explosive plays. They tried one. They had another one dialed up. They tried the little trickeration. They had us. Their receiver was wide ass open, but he stepped out of bounds. He was a little banged up on the play, and he stepped out of bounds. There was nothing but green grass and opportunity if he just turns around and hightails it up the sidelines. That's not our problem. They tried another deep shot. Hurts rolls to his right, throws it all the way back across his body to the left, and his receiver had it for a second, and then Kendall Fuller knocks it away. So they had opportunities for big plays. They weren't able to take advantage. They tried a deep shot late in the game, and Jeremy Reeves said, not today. So, no big plays, no explosive plays, no big runs, none of that shit that we have been giving up the last few weeks. And really all season long. Check. Finally, forced 2 turnovers. Check. I said that's all it would take was 2 turnovers. What did we get? 3 turnovers. I'm pleased with what we've been able to provide. And if you want to add in the 4th down failed conversions, 2 of them, 5 turnovers, including a big stop on a 4th down and goal from the 4, in which Jalen Hurts was not able to convert. So, again, big opportunities for this defense, making plays, and they did. 2 interceptions, one of Hurts, one of Nate Sudfeld, the former Washington Redskin. All right, and yes, Redskin, because when he was drafted, we were the Redskins. And then you force the fumble. Sudfeld can't handle the snap, tries to scoop it up. Montez Sweat says, no, you don't. Chase Young says, don't mind if I do. Check. So, 3.5 checks on the defensive side. Almost a flawless execution of the keys to the game for this defense. Now you go to the offensive side, and it's probably not going to be as pretty, but still effective. Washington's O versus Philadelphia's D. Start fast. Again, starting fast was the theme. We needed to start fast. I would have liked to have kept my foot on the gas pedal like Baltimore did to Cincinnati, but we're not capable of doing that. Anyway, we started fast, 10 points right out of the gate. So check. Limit mistakes, and every possession ends in a kick. Can't quite say that every possession ended in a kick because we ourselves had 2 turnovers in this game. Alex Smith with 2 back-breaking INTs. One that almost cost us. Luckily, the defense was able to come in and really buckle down, or else we tried to fumble it away on a botch snap. Now I'm putting that on Alex Smith, getting out of there too quickly without the damn football. But he cleaned up his own mess. He recovered the fumble. And then Steven Sims muffed another damn punt. Needless to say, we dodged a couple of bullets. So, and then we had a penalty-filled drive in which we up 10-0, had a chance to really put the clamps on the Eagles. We had another opportunity when they were on that same drive of forcing them to either kick a long field goal or have to punt after 2 straight sacks of Jalen Hurts, and we get another penalty. You get down the field. I want to say it was Cameron Curl. One of these dudes was holding way down the field on Zach Ertz unnecessarily, I might add. Jimmy more than one of them. Doesn't matter. I'm going to say that we didn't limit the mistakes. And every possession definitely didn't end in a kick. So this one's a no-go for me. We had penalties. I think we ended up with 5 in the game. All of them on defense. And we had 2 turnovers. And could have had 2 more turnovers. So the mistakes were there. And so no, I can't give us anything for that one. Offensive line, be big. There were times when this offensive line looked like it was on skates. And they were getting pressure. And it wasn't like the immediate off the edge, Dwayne's fumbling the football type of pressure that we've seen this season. It was the interior pressure, the guards and the centers getting blown back and Alex feeling uncomfortable. But I'm going to tell you this. Upon further review, there were a couple of times where Alex could have escaped if he had any kind of mobility, just an ounce. There was a blitz on a 3rd down where Alex was seeing ghosts. And you got a wide open in the end zone. This was a 2nd down. Wide open or it might have been the 1st down. Wide open in the end zone. Logan Thomas on a corner route. No, Cam Sims on a corner route. Eagles busted coverage. And Alex throws it away. And he knew he messed up. Now, he did redeem himself. He did find Logan Thomas in the back of the end zone with a touchdown. So there was a bit of redemption there. But there's another blitz where Alex just took off running. Ended up throwing the football away on like a 2nd down. And it got picked up pretty damn well. He didn't have to run, and he had open receivers. Logan Thomas is wide-ass open, sitting down in zone coverage behind that blitz. All Alex has to do is stand in there and deliver the football. There were times when this offensive line didn't do a good enough job. You got to protect Alex. He can't run. He can't move. You have to protect him. But there were other times where Alex just needed to calm down. And we've seen this from him this season, where he's had happy feet. And I've talked about this. I talked about it in the Rams game. I talked about it in the Giants game the first time around. Talked about it in the Steelers game where he's got happy feet and he's jumping around and he's nervous. He's a nervous rat. Any flash of color that seems foreign, he wants out. He's running into sacks and he's trying to outrun guys. He knows good damn well he can't outrun anybody. And he ultimately has to throw it away when he doesn't have to do all of that. Tripped over Brandon Sheriff's foot on 1 sack. Could have gotten away and picked up some yardage. I thought the offensive line was good. Not great, but I thought the offensive line was good enough in this game, to be honest with you. And I'm going to get some pushback on that. That's fine. I know what I saw. This offensive line wasn't great by any stretch of the imagination, but it wasn't as bad as Alex made them appear to be. J.D. McKissick got beat on a blitz protection, where he just simply tries to cut a guy and that guy kind of jumps over his block and ends up sacking Alex. It wasn't all the offensive line. In any event, I'm going to give it a half check. The offensive line could have been a lot better, but they could have been a lot worse too, and they weren't. And then finally, capitalize off of good field position. I'd be lying if I said that this was a big-time get for this football team in this game, because they had opportunities with some great field position and didn't do squat. They had opportunities with some drives that were promising and didn't do squat. And so it's hard for me to feel comfortable. Even the interception by Cameron Curl, that needs to be 7, not 3. You really want to put these boys out of their misery early? Try 14-0 instead of 10-0. Even still, if we get a stop defensively and get it back to the offense that was rocking and rolling early, who knows what this game would have morphed into. But instead, you have a defensive penalty-laden drive that allows the Eagles to not only get points, but get a touchdown instead of a field goal. And all of a sudden, it's a different game. And they ultimately rattle off 14 unanswered and take the lead 14-10. Long story short, I didn't feel like we capitalized enough on field position in this game. So I'll give it a half a check. But I didn't think we did a good enough job of capitalizing off of the field position that was given to us. We had great field position a couple of times and got field goals. The Nate Sudfeld interception that turned into a field goal attempt. The Cameron Curl interception off of Jalen Hurts that turned into a field goal. So it's a half a check. So when it's all said and done, you get 3.5 from the defense. You get 2 from the offense, 1 full and 2 halves, which equals out to 5.5, which is really the benchmark for me. I said 5, you can win with 5 keys to the game, but really 5.5 or better usually means we're going to win. You got 5.5. It wasn't pretty, but it was gritty. And most importantly, it was a dub. I'll take it any way I can get it. And the end result is that the Washington football team are your 2020 NFC East Division champs. And I wouldn't have it any other way. So we go from there into in other news. Ron Rivera was very jovial today, as you would expect, after his team clinched the NFC East a night ago. And so his presser was the longest of the season, totaling damn near 32 minutes. So he had a lot to say, long-winded answers, took a lot of questions, and he did have some interesting things to say. The favorite thing that he said was, I'm not apologizing for this. Okay, I think some people are looking for an apology today. You're not getting it. For me, I'm not apologizing for winning in this league. And I don't know what the Eagles have going on. That's not my concern. My concern is just to beat whoever they put in front of us. We did that, and we're the NFC East champions. So if you don't like it, don't really give a shit. He didn't say that, but he said that. Okay? Pretty much in his statement. And I love it. Okay? We're not apologizing for nothing. Okay? Nothing. Now, he talked about the Chase Young running off the field. I want Tom Brady. I want Tom. I want Tom. I remember in a moment watching that, and even last night when somebody brought it up, I said, don't know if I would have done that. Be careful what you wish for, is what I was thinking. The first thing popped in my head, I don't think you know what you just said, but at the same time, that's my guy. And as I tweeted out, and you can follow me at LouieTeeNetwork on Twitter, or you can follow me at LouieTeeNetwork _ on IG. Either way, I tweeted it out. That's my guy. And if the captain says we gonna ride, well shit, we gonna ride. So if that means we gotta go raid the ship to find Tom and bring his ass out, well, let's go plunder and pillage that bitch. Let's go. Get your shit, guys. Let's go. If the captain says we going to go bag us some Tom Brady, let's go get the ship and let's go bag Tom Brady. So I'm ready to ride if y'all are. And Ron pretty much said, we'll chalk that up to youthful exuberance. Okay? He doesn't really know better. He doesn't know better. And I told you that we don't really know better. We ain't never been here before. It's a bunch of youngins. And I stated, and Ron brought this up. I brought it up to you guys last night. Sure, there's the Kendall Fuller who's been to a Super Bowl and won. The Ronald Darby that's been to a Super Bowl and won. The Alex Smith that's been in the league for years, been to an NFC championship game, been to a bunch of playoff games, won a bunch of divisions. Yeah, there's those guys that you can lean on. Sure, Thomas Davis has been to a Super Bowl. been with Rivera for a very long time. But when you look at the foundation of this football team, it's a bunch of youth. And we don't know better. We don't know that the Buccaneers are supposed to show up to our house, kick the door in, and do whatever the hell they want to do and walk out with whatever they want to walk out with. We're not privy to that information. We think we're supposed to show up and it's a party and we're supposed to be able to get out there and boogie. The Bucs are like, hey, sit your ass down, man. You ain't even supposed to be here. Sit down. We like, but hey, we got a ticket to the dance. Well, we can't come in there. We don't know better, man. And so Chase doing that, Ron was like, I would have rather he not had said that. It's going to turn into bulletin board material. You know it. I know it. However, I want guys that love the game. Haven't we talked about that already? Like, for years, we haven't done our due diligence on guys when we drafted them in the first round. Like Josh Doxson. Or in the second round with Sua Cravens. We haven't done our due diligence on whether guys love the game or not. We got a dude that loves the game of football. Eats, sleeps, and breathes it. He's like, give me Chase Young, give me Alex Smith, the guys that love it. Alex could have retired after the knee injury. He didn't have to come back. He had nothing to prove. Got all the money he could ask for. Beautiful family. A great career. He could have called it quits. But he loves the game. He loves to compete. So does Chase Young. I want those guys on my team. So we going to have to back it up, essentially, is what he said. He didn't say that, but he essentially said, we going to have to go out. And if Chase says we going to go bag us some Tom Brady, we going to have to get in and ride. Load it up. Let's go. Captain says we going to ride on time. On site. Let's go. Get in the whip. So, he talked about that as well. And yes, he addressed the elephant in the room. Not the way that you probably wanted to hear it addressed. But he did acknowledge that that elephant exists. And we're going to talk about that right now because I would be remiss if I didn't bring this up because it was a massive topic of discussion last night and for good reason. So, Ron was asked about the quarterback situation. First of all, can we acknowledge that Alex Smith is a warrior? I think we already knew that. We already talked about that with him coming back and him dealing with. But this is different. He's already overcome that one hurdle. The guy was hurting last night. He even admitted it after the game. Like, yeah, it got tight on me in the second half. Terry said, look, man, my shit felt good early and then it got a little dicey late. But what are you going to do? We were banged up. Guys gutted it out. That's why I love this team. They're fighting. We're not healthy, but we fighting out here. So, Alex is a warrior, man. And can we all admit, without Alex Smith, because of the injuries that we've sustained this year, mainly to Kyle Allen, we wouldn't be here without Alex Smith. We can all acknowledge that, right? Like, even if you are a staunch detractor of Alex Smith, you have to admit, without Alex Smith, and there were so many of you that wanted him benched last night. Oh my God, he's terrible. Get him out. We can't win with Alex Smith. Well, we did win with Alex Smith. It wasn't pretty. At times, it did feel like he was hindering us. He was a hindrance last night. At times. But we don't start the game. We don't have the drive before the half without Alex Smith. And I don't know what Taylor Heineke would have done if he would have been thrown into the fire last night or if he would have started the game. That wasn't the game to find out, though. That's what you guys are missing. I want to find out what Taylor Heineke has in week 5 or week 7 or week 11. I don't want to find out what Taylor Heineke had. Hell, I would have even been cool with Taylor Heineke starting week 16. What I don't want to find out is with the division on the line if Taylor Heineke can get it done or not. This is not the time to find that out. Because what would you have said if he would have went in there and thrown 3 interceptions? What were we going to do? Turn to Steven Montez? That's the thing, and I get it. Alex threw 2 interceptions. I'm no dummy. I'm not oblivious to what happened in the game. I know Taylor Heineke would have been much more mobile, and he would have extended some of those plays. And he might have played well. I don't know the answer to that. None of us do. But last night wasn't the night to figure that out. Now, after seeing what we saw, I just want it in. I'm willing to experiment if we need to, but we needed to get in first. And I needed a steady hand to do that. Now, I wasn't really looking, and I told you this all last week, and some of you were listening, and some of you didn't want to hear it. But I was like, I really don't want to see Taylor Heineke in this game. I'd much prefer Alex Smith start this game. Thank you very much. This week, if Alex is compromised, I'd much rather see Taylor Heineke. And I'm fine with that. We're in now. We're in. And this Buccaneers defense, they're going to be flying around. And if you can't move, they will gobble your ass up. I've seen them do it. I've watched them play Matt Ryan 2 weeks out of the last 3. I know what they're capable of doing to a guy that can't move. So, if Alex is compromised in the fashion that he was in this game, Ron's got a decision to make. And he sounds a little bit more willing to pull the trigger on Taylor Heineke this week than he was last week. And I was with him on that one. I was like, hey, let's not make any hasty decisions here. Let's not do something that we might regret. Because we put Taylor in there, Taylor vomits all over himself, we don't go to the playoffs. Then we're coulda, shoulda, woulda, what if we would've. How about we just let the vetty get us to the offs? That's what the young boys are calling it now, the offs. Let's let Alex get us to the offs. And then if you want to do some experimental shit, hey, we playing with house money now. Week 17 for me wasn't house money. Contrary to what Ron Rivera tried to tell you in popular belief. No. We needed to win the division. That wasn't house money. There was pressure there. And anybody tells you that there wasn't pressure, they were lying. They were lying. Now there's no pressure. Nobody expects us to win. We were supposed to beat Philadelphia in week 17. Eagles had nothing to play for. There was pressure there. There's no pressure in the playoffs. Playoffs? No pressure. Bucks are supposed to smoke us. They got the GOAT. They got Tom Brady. They got Mike Evans. They got Chris Godwin and Antonio Brown. They got Gronk. They got Leonard Fournette. They got Ronald Jones. They got Scotty Miller. They are supposed to eat us alive. They got Ndamukong Suh on defense. JPP. They got all these difference makers. All these linebackers. We're not supposed to have a shot. So why not Taylor Heineke? And I think Ron is starting to play. Those gears are turning in his brain. And Ron even admitted, it crossed my mind to sit Alex's ass down in this game, but he said, I just couldn't go away from the steady hand of the guy that I knew that was going to take care of the football. Now, again, Alex had 2 interceptions. And they were ugly. And I'm putting them both on Alex. But in those situations, you want the veteran to bring you home. And he did. It wasn't pretty, but he brought us home. I think Ron is really entertaining the idea of Taylor Heineke. And he said he's going to talk to Ryan Vermillion, who's the head trainer, and he's going to figure out if Alex is in a position to play. Is he better off this week than he was last week? Is he in a worse condition after playing on it? So they're going to assess the situation. I think Ron's going to do what's best. I think Ron already realizes that he's cost us a game by sticking with Dwayne for far too long already this season. So I think in his mind, he's already thinking, if I got to go to Taylor, I'm going to go to Taylor. So I think this week might be a little bit different in terms of mindset. We'll see. But I'm just telling you right now, if Alex is healthy, he's going to play whether you want him to or not. I don't disagree with that. I hate the lack of mobility because in this league, you got to be able to move. That was my biggest complaint about Dwayne early in the season. If you're not going to move, you won't stand a chance in this league, especially if you don't have elite pocket mobility and awareness. That's what Breeze has. That's what Brady has. That's what you got to be able to do. If you can't run, you better be able to slide, shuffle, step up, move back, whatever it takes to create that extra fraction of a second for you to get rid of the football. That ain't Alex Smith. Alex at the first sight of trouble is looking to run, but he's still thinking like he's pre-injury Alex. I can get out of here. No, you can't, Alex. So he hasn't recalibrated what this version of Alex Smith has to do to be successful. I don't think he's had a whole offseason to kind of figure out because he didn't play. Yeah, this is his first time playing since the injury. So he hasn't recalibrated in his brain. Bruh, we can't do the things we used to do. So Ron I think he was a little bit open to the idea that Taylor Heineke, we may have to get us some Heine this week. Might have to get us some Heine this week. We'll see. But that's another discussion for another day. Down the road this week. Celebrate! We NFC East Division champs, goddammit. Can't nobody take that away. So, I'm looking forward to this week. I'm telling you, it's going to be NFC East Division champ talk all week. It's going to be Tampa Bay Buccaneers talk all week. And it's going to be fun, man. And I'm glad we got the nightcap. And I also appreciate them saying, hey, if we're going to put you out of your misery, we're going to do it on day one. We ain't going to let you sit and linger until Sunday, which is what they did to us the last time in 2015. Come and get us on Saturday night. If you coming to get us, come and get us early. I appreciate that. I'm glad they didn't try to get us out the way at 1. Anyway, Tom Brady, once Tom was in the matchup, I knew that was a nighttime thing. So I appreciate Tom. Big ups to Tom for that, for getting us into that 8:15 slot. Because without him, you're a Saturday at 4 o'clock. Nobody beats the Colts because nobody wants to watch the Indianapolis Colts. I don't know if you've noticed, but every time the Colts or the Texans are in the playoffs, usually the team that one of the teams from the AFC South, they're in that 1 o'clock window or the 4:30 window on Saturday. That first window, whatever it is. Now it's 1 o'clock. Used to be 4:30. It's always them. It was Indy. It was Houston. Because nobody cares about those teams. I told you that's the one division in football where everybody's, whatever. The Titans are starting to change that a little bit with Derrick Henry, but it's still, So we were good. We weren't going to be 1 o'clock, but we would have been 4:40. We would have had that 4:40 slot if not for Tom. If we were playing the Rams or the Seahawks, they would have got our ass out of the way at 4:40 on Saturday afternoon. We on prime time. We on the big stage. Prime time. We 3-0. On prime time. Now, Ron also said, I'm not effing with tradition, even though I don't think Ron really knows what the tradition is. He said, the white on whites, that's reserved for the road. We do the burgundy at home. That's tradition. Actually, Ron, if you want me to be literal, you want me to be actual and factual, the white unis at home are the championship jerseys. It's white tops, burgundy pants, if you want to be honest. That's tradition. That was from the Gibbs years, 1.0. But in this reincarnated, you know, different situation and in this different space that we're in now, the burgundy, since old Bruce Allen came around and switched it up, burgundy has become the home jersey. But technically speaking, if we're being honest, the tradition is to wear white tops at home. But sounds like he's going to go burgundy tops. As long as he doesn't match it up with burgundy bottoms, I'm all good. Because we haven't won a damn thing with burgundy on burgundy, even though it looks crispy. We can't beat a soul in burgundy on burgundy. I still think we are winless in that burgundy on burgundy combination. So I'd much rather leave that shit out and just burgundy tops, white bottoms, and keep it pushing. Fine by me. So don't, for those of you who asked, don't think you're getting white on whites. That could change. But Ron sounded pretty adamant that I'm not looking to mess with tradition. So, for whatever that's worth. Anyway, I digress. The champs are here! The champs are here! We here. We in the building. Bring me my damn division. Put my trophy down right here, man. Told the Giants that after we beat the damn Steelers. Bring me my damn division, man. Put my shit down right here. Put it down. Leave it right there. I'll get it in a little bit. We went and picked it up last night. They cleaned it up, shined it. Presented it to us on a silver platter last night. Felt damn good. Feels good, feels good. And as I stated at the top of the show, don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Don't let anybody try to make you feel bad for feeling this good, for doing something that nobody else thought we would. All right? We here? We here. That's going to do it for me, your man Louie T, here on the Monday edition of Washington Football Nightly, the 2020 NFC East Champion edition of Washington Football Nightly. We're going to be talking about this win and this division all week long. And Wednesday, we'll get to practice. And we'll start talking about Terry McLaurin and his injury situation. And we'll be talking about Antonio Gibson and his toe, and Alex Smith and his calf, and any other injuries that may crop up, including J.D. McKissick and whatever he sustained, and Logan Thomas and whatever he's got going on. But at the end of the day, I think we came out of the game relatively healthy. Don't think we incurred any more real big injuries. Again, we do need to check on the status of J.D. McKissick and Logan Thomas. But outside of that, I don't think anybody else really went down in this game per se. Feel really good about where we are. Terry McLaurin said he was sore last night, but if he went last week, my guess is that he'll be going this week. And Ron felt really confident. And I don't put too much stock into Ron when he talks about injuries because he really doesn't know. But he said, look, he should be better this week. Despite playing on it, it's a week further healed. So we'll see, We'll see what happens. I'm just excited, man. You can't temper this. I've been this way since we won, I didn't go to sleep till 4 a.m. last night. Don't ask me why. I just couldn't. All right, I was too amped. The adrenaline was pumping. I was trying to get as much content. I was on socials. I was looking at all the pictures and all the Instagram stories, and I was soaking all of that shit up last night, man. And I did it a little bit more today, and I was tweeting my ass off and retweeting my ass off, and Washington had the Washington football team Twitter account had a great tweet, and it said "party crashers," and then it was a video, and I retweeted it, and I said we didn't get an invite to the party. So we thought we'd just show up anyway. Crash the joint. Pretty fitting for this season. Nobody invited us anywhere. Nobody thought we were good enough. They laughed at us last night. They thought we were a joke last night. They're still laughing at us right now. I love it. I love it. Nobody thinks we're going to have a chance. They think we're a joke. They still laughing at us. I can't wait till Saturday night, man. I can't wait. Bart Scott. Can't wait. Anyway, you guys continue to enjoy. I know I am. Can't speak for you out there. Continue to enjoy this. Bask in it. Celebrate. The Washington football team are your 2020 NFC East champions. With that said, if you haven't already done so, what are you waiting on? Subscribe to the LouieTeeNetwork for more great content. Turn on that notification bell so you don't miss a thing. And also hit that like button if you haven't already done so. With that in mind, I'm going to glide to the side and allow you to continue the celebration. If you've stopped, shame on you. Because I damn sure haven't. I'm still celebrating. And until next time, I'm your man, Louie T. And this has been Washington Football Nightly, the home of the 2020 NFC East champions. See you guys tomorrow night when we will again talk about the 2020 NFC East champion Washington football team. Doesn't that have a nice ring to it? I swear it does. You guys, have a good one.
Here comes the diesel. Here comes the diesel. There's the snap, hand to Riggins. Good hold. He's got the first down to the 40. He's gone. The 35, the 30, the 20. He's gone. He's gone. Touchdown.